Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sorare Thursday Club episode 25. Today, we're talking cheat codes. Players whose L15 we think is way lower than their potential. They're perfect for your Cap 240 teams. With me, the usual boys, we've got Dornado to my right. Johnny, how are we doing?
Good, mate. I'm good. Sante to you. I'm good, mate.
Sante.
Looking forward to talking some absolute nonsense, as per usual.
Looking forward to hearing about Everton. And below me, we've got Ricky, aka the Sorare member. How are we doing, mate?
Sante, very good, thank you.
Sante.
Lovely to be back. Another outing for the Sorare hat. Another outing for the Nuremberg top. So yeah, feeling good.
I love how I'm talking and introing you as if you guys haven't been here for a while. But yeah, it's me who is helicoptering in for an episode, and then I'll start off again next week.
Who are you again? You're the
I am the guest.
You are the guest. Yeah.
If anyone's confused, this is Swiss Mafia, the one we talk about on every other pod, but he's not there with us. So
I'm here this week.
Good
Anyway,
to have you back.
how are we doing, boys? We're good.
Very good, thank you. Very good.
Really good.
Perfect.
I've already done my whinge about the weekend on yesterday's show, so I won't bore you to death with that. But it's been a frustrating Sorare week. Won some prizes that weren't very good and could have been a lot better, but we move on. We move on to next weekend.
I think if you took the tripod of football teams of Everton, Bristol City, and Man United, it was about as bad performance-wise as you could ever wish to see at the weekend, wouldn't it? Three piles of absolute dross. I couldn't even really take the piss out of Johnny, as Everton were getting plastered over the wall by Villa because of how bad the Saturday football had been. So yeah,
it was so grim, wasn't it? Terrible. And my Sorare has been no better. I've spent the whole week. So normally, I don't know if you find this. I'm already going off on tangent. When I have ETH in my balance or Fiat in my balance, I spend it almost instantly. I literally can't spend it. I can't find a midfielder, and I haven't been able to do so for a couple of weeks, and it's driving me insane.
You know what your problem is, mate? Is you keep putting that ETH into Everton players.
I know. Yeah, that's completely fucked me.
At no point I've told you to do that. There's just no way. You've got more Everton players than I have, mate.
So genuinely, I've between listening to you about Everton and then listening to Nepentez talk about how the tactic is to collect like full squads, go for collections. I was like, yeah, that's the one. I'll collect an Everton collection. And now I can't win anything. And now all my money's spent on Everton. Yeah. I'm getting really pissed off, and I feel like I'm you. I'm turning into you.
And Iwobi's torn his hamstrings out for at least a month.
I had a genuine shiver then, like a real life shiver when you said I'm doing an Everton collection. It went straight to my soul.
And also,
I
was just going to say, whilst we're on the topic as well, talking of Everton collections, I am no longer number one Everton collector. That bloody Worcester EFC. If you're watching, I'm going to come for you. I'm going to flipping get you. I know where you live, Worcester.
I've got an Alex Iwobi serial match if you'd like, because apparently he's crap and injured. So
I'd imagine you're just waiting for my birthday to give me that. So I'll just wait until November, and then hopefully you'll give it to me. Cheers, mate.
No, I was just waiting until you had something that I want, and then I could use it as a bargaining chip.
You'll be waiting a while.
I've also got a whole fucking Everton rare squad that I'm trying to get rid of. So feel free to drop in on me, mate.
They'll come good in the long run. Once they've left Everton and gone to much better teams, you'll do fine, I'm sure.
I did hop on the Dwight McNeil rare bandwagon. So hopefully he's the catalyst for change when he comes back.
He is back in light training. He hasn't joined the squad yet, but he is back running, back on the grass. He just needs to, you know how it is with ankles, boys. We've all done it. Once you do your ankle ligaments a little bit, that's you for a few weeks. So hopefully he'll be back soon, because annoyingly, we've become completely reliant on Dwight McNeil.
How did that happen?
Levels, isn't it?
But he is good. He's actually proved me wrong a little bit, because I wasn't a huge fan of when we bought him. But he was.
He's a proven Burnley level player. He's already done it once, gone down with them, proven he can do it.
He's ready made for relegation with you. He's absolutely,
So I think we've got a squad of about 20 to 22 actual proper first team players right now. 10 of them have been relegated with other teams.
Fuck me.
So that's pretty good.
Have any of them scored goals?
Dwight McNeil got 7 last year, which is the highest of any of our other players. So yes.
Fuck me.
So
Have you got Che Adams in yet? I remember your
No, but
enthusiasm that he was going to come in and dominate.
I think we are going to get him in, but he will also add to the relegation list of players that have been relegated that joined Everton. So, yeah.
Have you ever thought about the fact that we should probably rebrand ourselves as an Everton podcast? We genuinely last about 30 seconds to a minute before it goes off on tangent.
I can't help. They just occupy my entire brain.
Oh yeah, they're now fucking my brain as well. It's horrible. It's
Mate, imagine actually supporting them, like genuinely loving them like I do. And they just break your heart every week. Today, we announced that our big investment that we're coming in, they've pulled out. So that's good. So now we don't have any money.
Wow.
I see it as a true blessing owning my Everton cards, because if they do really well, then I'm in a chance with a prize on Sorare. If they do absolutely shit, I probably enjoy it more because it means Everton failed, and I look forward to the show where.
It's like having a keeper locked, isn't it?
It's win-win. It's win-win for you, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Could I just take a quick detour before my beer goes flat? If anyone saw the show yesterday, I won a tier 1. I won 4 prizes. One of them was a tier 1. You know the rules. Tier 1 or above is a Sorare bomb. For the uninitiated, it is a whiskey dropped into a beer. So yeah, I owe
Remind us who you got, Ricky T. Remind us who you got.
Good question.
You got that keeper, didn't you? The keeper that's apparently really bloody good, and actually his scores suggest he is really bloody good.
I will show you right now, because I am always prepared on this show. These 4 were the ones I won yesterday. So Jose Carlo was a tier 1.
Tier 1, yeah.
In second division. He's a tier 1 for a team that I hadn't heard of till I won him yesterday.
Oh God, he looks good.
Had some really good scores last season. Hadn't done so well this year. He was a tier 1. I picked up Burgos CF. He's a goalie.
He's very good scores. And one of the people on the stream yesterday actually said he's one of the goats of goalkeeping. But I've never heard of him either. But still,
no, I haven't.
Yeah, poor start to the season for him though, so hopefully he picks up. I won Vite as a tier 4, who is, not bad for a tier 4. Leighton Clarkson was a tier 2, and he is a good
tier 2.
Yeah, he banged an 83 tonight and put some big scores. Gone to Aberdeen permanently now from Liverpool, I believe. It's decent value for a tier 2 anyway. And then I got Karol Swiderski, one of your big picks for the season back in the pre-MLS shows. Obviously very good, but his price isn't great for a tier 2. 5 to 6 quid is probably not what you want for a tier 2, but a good card.
Gets in the Poland squad utility. It's not a bad hold.
Yeah, so that's what I picked up. And thanks to Jose Caro of the team I'd never heard of, I owe a bomb. Plastic shot glass, please go down. There we go. Sante, vive la Thursday.
Well done, mate. Good work. I know you too well to know that probably wasn't whiskey. It was probably a Coca-Cola. A Coca-Cola and a Diet Cola or something put together. But
I actually fancied it tonight, to be fair. I don't even need reminding.
Nice work. Always nice to win tier 1s, eh? We haven't had some tier 1s for a while, have we? I don't think.
No,
I'd like a tier 1 rare in the group.
Time.
Yeah.
I've genuinely got a feeling I've got a chance this week. Been through him for a while, and one of the players I'm going to talk about later, I've got a feeling could make the difference.
Are you planning on playing Gakpo though this weekend?
Maybe, maybe not. Who knows?
I think I'm worried he might be maybe sat.
You think he's going to get dropped?
Nah, I don't think so. He's not in my main team anyway, but it's fine. Anyway, we're digressing. Ramble, which is a bit of a digression in itself. So what's happened in the last week? I think you boys already chatted about a little bit about this on Tuesday. The new cards dropped, didn't they? Do you want to get them on screen quickly, Rick, whilst you got the controller screen?
Yeah.
Anyone who hasn't seen them yet? I actually only had a proper look at them yesterday because my week's been mental. What is your initial feelings? John, what's your initial feeling looking at the cards?
So my initial feelings are they look good, I guess. I was kind of hoping they'd be a bit more special looking, but what I do like is the super rare and unique, especially the uniques. I'm not sure if any of those are on the market. Are they, Rick?
Yeah.
So they're like purple.
Yeah, that looks cool.
They are seriously nice. I kind of feel like if there was a bit more of a contrast on the limited cards and the rare cards, where the red and the yellow of the background sort of stand out a bit more from the further background, if that makes sense, like with the uniques, that would be better. But yeah, that looks fly, doesn't it? That looks really nice.
I think that kaleidoscope effect in the background is really cool on the uniques. I think it looks really good at Majid Land, specifically. I feel there was a lot of like hate come out straight away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as usual.
But like, if you look back at the previous season's cards, they're all pretty basic and they all look very similar next to each other anyway. I want each season to like stand out so you can see. When they brought the new Korea K-League cards out, they just look the same as the. You know. I like that they're different. I like that they stand out. I think the super rare ones are a bit whatever. But I think they're all right. I really like the rookie cards with the purple.
The rookie looks cool.
Yeah, the
sliver through it.
Yeah, are you going to try and pick a few up, maybe, if you can?
I do usually
like a rookie card, don't you?
I do usually always try to pick up a couple of ones, a couple of serials, and a couple of rookies. But I think I am going to wait for a different set. Like, I'm not really interested in these challenger ones. Maybe the Prem ones, or something in Champ Europe, or something else.
The Prem will be the 3D cards, won't they? Like they've said, they'll come out. Like I think the Prem will be just like bang, amazing looking things.
I'm pretty sure these turn into 3D cards. Isn't that what they said? They were going to release. They're releasing these, and then they are almost traded in for the exact card, the same sort of mint, but they turn into 3D cards. That's what they said in the announcement. I'm sure.
I read it as they'll start releasing them as 2D, and then they'll start releasing 3D ones. Like, for example, John Goronk Stankovic, when they release 3D, say he's on mint 30, that will just turn into 3D cards from that point going on, rather than.
Really? Are you sure?
That's how I read it. I might be wrong.
I'm pretty sure they turn into, because otherwise, why are people buying them right now? At the prices.
We know from previous announcements that sometimes the lost in translation French wording on English announcements isn't quite there. So maybe they've been a bit ambiguous with how they've announced it. I don't know. But I definitely read it the same as Ricky. I read they're going to be 2D cards and then 3D cards are going to come in later. But who knows?
I think as well, a lot of people reacting to these, but these have got to be like the placeholder for when they become 3D, right? This is only part of the plan of what they want. They obviously couldn't release 3D straight away because they're not ready, or they didn't want to here. But these are part of like the 3D model, aren't they? So reserve.
Yes, they have to look like that, don't they?
Reserve judgment until you see like what the whole concept was meant to look like. I'm not sure about the rookies and limited. Don't look as cool.
Average. Yeah.
I just wanted the limited backgrounds, like the diamond bit behind them, to stand out a bit more, like be a different color to the yellow. I just think they just could have made it a slightly different shade of orange or yellow or something, and it would have looked so much cooler.
Yeah.
None of it massively excites me, but apart from the, like you say, the rookies look cool, the uniques look really cool. But to be honest, I don't actually care that much.
I'm never going to buy unique.
Well, and also I get the cards for their utility to play them. It's cool to have good-looking cards, but yeah, again, does it really matter? I don't know. And when they're 3D, they will look different.
I wonder if we'll see some more drop tomorrow. Doesn't seem to be too many auctions left, so maybe there's some more tomorrow.
Bristol City?
No, thanks.
No, I'd rather it didn't happen. I cannot afford any more so rare cards or auctions anyway. No, thank you. Right, and the second bit of news was the Austria signed jerseys that came out today. So that was at 2:00 CET, I think it was released, at 35,000 coins. I sat there, I didn't have enough. I had about 17k coins, sat there, watched it. I thought I'd test it and just see how easy it would be to get one. and I refreshed. I watched the seconds and refreshed as I got onto it, like, as it was changing. Was right at the start of the line, and then watched it go to sold out within that first, like, not even half a minute. So, have you seen anyone who's got one? I'm guessing you boys didn't get one. I didn't see you saying anything about it.
I didn't even try, to be honest, but I know Ricky did. But I think you kind of got to just get a bit lucky when the exact millisecond you refresh, haven't you? You just got to get really lucky.
I mean, I refreshed it 58 seconds so that, banking on it loading up exactly on the minute, which it did. It flashed up exactly on the time. Clicked straight on it, clicked straight on confirm. The box came up, and as I went to just slam place order, it sold out. 5 seconds.
It had all your address and bank details already saved, I guess, after the last announcement.
It was basically, you have to click once, click confirm, and then click at the bottom of your details. So 3 clicks. I reckon it was gone in 5 seconds. I don't know how many jerseys they had. It probably wasn't a lot, but
it just had a few left, didn't it? You couldn't tell, could you?
Yeah, surprised they didn't let us know because we're big influencers. They usually give us a heads up, don't they? But
give us the drop. Yeah,
that's what posts suggest anyway.
Yeah.
Do you think bots? I assume bots are the reason it's going so fast. Like, you can surely set something up, because if you've got all your bank details already filled in and it's a matter of clicks, it's the same as the old Glastonbury tickets and things like that. You can set up bots to do it.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, yeah. How many people? Well, I suppose some of the big traders and snipers will have 25k coins, was it? Or 35 easily.
Yeah. Well, you've got that easy, haven't you?
Yeah. But I guess if you could say bots are there that snipe and offer as soon as the posting goes live for an underpriced player, I'm sure they can set it up to
Bologna.
Order a jersey as soon as it comes on. But yeah.
I'll try for next time. Also, 35,000 coins is steep, I thought. Like, mine cost 30.
It's a signed jersey, mate. People paying 15,000 for a cap.
Yeah. True. I think maybe I just judge it on that first one that I got, which was like the best teams. And then when Austria released, maybe I was thinking it would be a little bit less, because it was 30,000, the one I got, this one I'm wearing now. So... And that this drop included like Borussia Dortmund, Liverpool, like Arsenal, like really like big teams. I do like the Austria shirts though. I was saying on our group, they have like crazy sponsors all over the place, and they kind of look a bit cool.
I really wanted one.
Yeah, it would have been cool. I would have liked to get the Red Bull Salzburg one and just had like a Salzburg and a Leipzig. Try and complete the whole set.
I wanted the Rapid Wien.
I wanted a Klagenfurt or a Wien. Yeah.
I thought you were a Lask guy, aren't you?
Me?
Lask.
I thought you loved a bit of Lask.
They're quite a cool team, to be fair.
Yeah. I don't know. Next time.
Yeah, next time. Anyway, right, let's part that one up. Purpose of the show is to chat cheat codes Cap 240, or cheat codes in particular that fit in Cap 240. First of all, if we get stuck into it, boys, what do you even define as a cheat code? Like, people probably have their own interpretation of what a cheat code is when they're playing so rare. Either you got an opinion on what you define a cheat code as?
For me, for cap related cheat codes, it would be not only someone who's got a current low cap, who I think can do a lot better, but also value wise as well. Like, there's almost a scale of how cap is related to price. Like, if you can get a really good player that's probably like averaging 55 for a good price, and that is also a good value for cap because it can cover a lower cap player in that team as well. But yeah, I think just in general, having a player that you think can perform a lot better than what they've currently scored in the last 15 is a good way of gauging it. Yeah.
So rather than just looking for the low, because I see some people define it as the low numbers, i.e. under, if the average is 48 a player, I think it is, off the top of my head, on cap mode, then defining it as someone who's like low 40s, in the 30s, whatever. But you're saying you see it more as someone who can beat their actual cap score. So you could have let's use Gabriel Sara, for instance, I think he's on 61 or was, and then he's hitting hundreds weekly and has a good set of fixtures. You still see him as a cheat code.
I think there's I find like you don't want to have someone who's got such a good low cap that it's because they're so crap they just score low all the time. Like you want to also have someone that's got the potential to do something.
It's like Bobby Reed, mate. He's the ultimate low cap, low potential.
The Everton Slayer himself.
He's dead to me. He's dead to me.
One fixture a year, he's handy. Maybe two, actually.
If you ever need a goal, go play Everton. I'll tell you that now.
What about you, Rick? What's your definition of cheat code?
So I think it's someone that you think is on the up, so would improve on where they currently are. But if I was to break it down to really simple terms, the colour on the L15 box, if it's yellow, and I think they're going to play well, then it feels like a cheat code in a cap mode for me. I don't know where it starts at yellow. 40 and under? Is it 39 starts at yellow?
Yeah,
44.
44.
Yeah, 44, whatever it is. If I see it's yellow and I think they've got a good game, then I think, oh, that's tasty. I have to slot him in somewhere. Rudimental traffic light colour scheme for me. Green, no discount there. Yellow, ooh, he's sneaky cheap. Let's see where I can put him. So yeah, that's how I break it down in very basic terms. But you are looking for someone that you think is going to outperform their score, basically, isn't it? And that's usually a lot of blind faith, unfortunately.
I usually like a player that's come from a team where he's sub. So he's been coming on a lot and getting like 28 and 30 and whatever, but he's joined a new team. Where, like, I was saying this the other day, like, if someone's left Champion Europe and gone to a Challenger Europe team, that's the dream for me.
So, like Fred from Man U to Turkey.
Yeah, effectively, like he's going to be a standout in a smaller team, smaller league. Then, because you never want it to go the other way, do you? Whether they're really good in Challenger and then they end up at a Champion and they're on the bench. It's kind of trying to figure out like who's going to make that move as well that you can sort of get ahead of the curve on and try and pick up their players before their scores start going up and up and up.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, isn't it? This time of the season, the transfer season, the new starts of the season, people start at the new clubs or they come out from injuries. You see a lot of zero L15s around, don't you? And you see a lot of players go into new clubs where they could potentially completely change the way they perform on Sorare. So yeah, this is the season, the silly season, isn't it, for trying to predict how a transfer will be for a player.
It's worth mentioning as well that like for the last 15 scores, like you don't want players to have a lot of DMPs because that doesn't count. And like, for example, I had a keeper that I picked up from Bologna that's gone to join a second division Italian team, and his cap was 78 because he played one game in the last 35 games, and it was about 12 games ago, and he got 78 in it. So it just sums that up. Rather than it being 78 plus 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 divided by 15, it's just 78 divided by 1. So you
kind of just answered my next question, mate, which is, do you classify a 0 as a cheat code?
Well, this is it, isn't it? Like,
a lot of people do, don't they? They look at it and go, "Yeah, that's a cheat code. It's a 0 for that game week."
It's really not. It's better to have players that come on as sub and get shit scores than have a player that doesn't come on or doesn't even make the squad.
Yeah, unless you're looking for that, one-off boom to start the season. You get it a lot with goalies, don't you? That you're coming in. Like to plug a 0 in the first game, it makes you feel like you've got a really strong chance of just like.
If it's just all zeros, fine, yeah, like that doesn't really change anything. But like if there's like that example I gave, there's like 1 or 2 or 3 games in that 15 stretch, that can be a little bit annoying. Like I couldn't use that keeper in any cap competitions because his average was 78, and it was just impossible. So I had to put him in, an all-star team, I think, in the end, but. Yeah, it's just
the problem I find with the zeros is like generally they're a 0 because they've been out injured or something's happened for them to be a 0 if they're a decent player, and then you're like, it's often quite hard to know when they're going to come back, and if when they do come back they play a full game or if they get like slowly integrated. And if they get slowly integrated, then they have like maybe hit like 25 to 45 first game and they're still quite that's fine. They come straight in, they absolutely smash it, hit 65, 70 plus. Then they're already out of that cap range.
Yeah.
So it's like, I kind of look at it as if you target specific game weeks, i.e. you've got a good squad with a hole and you go, look, I might have to pay a little bit extra for the 0, but I know they're coming in and playing, it's worth it potentially as a cheat code for that week. But you've got to be pretty sure, otherwise you're taking a risk.
Or you get some really good, genuine keepers that get genuine zeros, like Pickford on the weekends. Like, rather than
just good keepers.
Yeah, you said good there, mate.
Yeah.
He hasn't been good since I spent all my money on him, mate.
Sure. You'll be cheering for him when he's playing for England, boys.
Yeah, I will. That's the only time I cheer for him.
Not if he carries on this form, mate. He's not going to be starting in the Euros, is he?
Well, freaking Ramsdale's not going to be, is he? He can't even start for Arsenal soon.
So carrying on with the cheat code thing, you pick your player up as a cheat code. What's your tactics on cheat codes? As in, like, exit. This is probably a harder question for you, John, because your team never sell. But for someone out there playing cap 240 mode, that's picking up these cheat codes to do well and potentially either win ETH or win prizes, what's the exit point on a player, would you say? When do you get out?
Well, I'll let you go first if you want, Rick.
Because your answer is going to be I don't sell. So
well, it was going to be. I mean, obviously, you don't want them to have too many dark green scores, right? To get to a point where you can't even fit them in cap anymore. We had it a little bit when we were doing our 220 is plenty thing last year, didn't we? Where we got a few players in and they did too well, and then we couldn't use them because they just can't get them in the team. You'd have to have a really, really bad player to counteract someone who's got a good sort of 55 plus average. But
then is there more demand? Because the reason I'm asking this is because I've done it with, let's say, Gabriel Sara as the example, and then they get so good they're too good for your cap team, but then you go, actually they're getting so good that then there's that demand for the better teams. So there's like a bit of a line where you're going, is this player good enough to like exceed and be like a 270 or an all-star player versus actually no, this is a cap mode player that's probably hit his ceiling now and will probably go down. That's kind of how I look at it. I don't know.
I think it depends on your entire gallery as a whole. Like, if you've got enough players that you can just, like, if they get too good, you just put them in another team that doesn't need a cap, then that's fine. But if you're just exclusively doing a cap 240 team, you know, there has to be a point of which they get so high that you probably have to sell and then reinvest that into other players. Because if you can't even fit them into your team every week because they're too good, then you kind of have to, right? You're just wasting time, wasting money.
I genuinely find it like it's my weakness on the game. And I wonder if there's a lot of people that do the same as me. Like, I'm cap 240 focused and I cannot sell certain players because I get attached to them and they perform really well. And I'm like, I'll just save them for a better team and build players around them, when I should just pull the trigger, sell them, probably make 100 quid or two on top of it and reinvest in more cap players. Like, I know that's the good play, but I can't do it.
You get so attached, don't you? You get so attached.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if you do the
me.
same. Don't know if you do the same as me, Rick. But like, if I ever have one rare keeper with a midweek game, I'd rather put that keeper in All-Star and then put 4 high-powered players in my cap 240 and like run a 4-player team to try and win 50 quid, and then run an actual good team, like a really good no cap team in my All-Star team. Does that make sense? Or
no, fuck that, mate. I'm a goalie. I'm never running a team without a goalie. We're the most important part of a team. You ain't running 4 fucking players like a goalie. You need us, boy. You need us.
I'm flying with 4-man ETH Hunts at the moment. I'm getting them in every week at the moment.
Ethan Hunt. I haven't watched New Mission Impossible. How is it?
Stealing my jokes again. Shock.
I am a tough one to ask about this because I usually buy people just before the deadline when they're at their peak. I sell at a loss at wrong times. Yeah, I'm not great at it, but I think if your highest point in your gallery is aiming for the 240s, that is your threshold, is your aim. You're not going above that. Then maybe setting yourself exit points if the player goes up. Maybe you've got a team set for the weekend and the player's risen. You just need to sell the player before the game week starts and have that acceptance with yourself that I've made 20 quid on this player. I'm not going to be able to enter my team this week, but I've got in and out of a position in profit, and now I look ahead to the next one. It's really hard because the main point of this game is you want to play right because it's fun. Like, that's why people FOMO into cards so late on before a game week. Do it all the fucking time. I've always got, I just buy a couple more and I get a couple more teams out. It's because you want to play. You'd rather have the team in. So it takes like strong mind to, say, all right, I'm going to take the offer now and get out, or my team is about to win $5 this week, but I've had an offer for a player that I could cash out now. I'll lose my team, but I'll make profit on the card, and then I'm out. So, it's strong that. Obviously, buying early in the game week, before a game week is important. When the new, say, Sorare releases new pick scores, when the Tuesday deadline goes, getting in nice and early and picking up anything you need for the weekend nice and early. And then you can look to sell it maybe before the weekend for a profit and make the flip rather than entering the team.
That's what the data boys were talking about, wasn't it? There's quite a lot. They're making quite a lot of cash with that tactic at the minute, which seems so obvious. But
it's just not fun, though, is it? It's just not as fun. I want that hope that I might win a flipping Mbappe on the weekend. You know what I mean?
It's not, but I've been doing it for a few weeks just to try and raise a tenner through the week. Like, buy a stack of cards on the Tuesday when the pick scores are out, not at the top. Sell them on like the Thursday, bank a tenner. Trading is a legitimate option to try and boost your funds. Obviously, you can get caught out by injuries or luck, but yeah, I think it's having a plan in your head, isn't it? Planning makes everything work. I don't plan anything. I don't have any spreadsheets. I'm ad hoc, but I think it is a good tactic to have exit points on players or trades, and realizing that sometimes getting in and out of players and taking a profit on them is probably better than having the team that probably wouldn't have won the ETH anyway.
Doesn't that kind of cancel out for you, though, because you're the buyer and the seller in that situation? Because you buy them to double up, and then you see one yourself last minute and buy and go, oh, yes. So you end up just cancelling out.
Yeah, I need to balance my rash habits by trading earlier in the week. Yeah,
balancing is better than losing, I guess.
Exactly.
But I like what you're saying there. It's like the exit point is obvious, but yet we don't all do it. And then the whole thing around you can sell before game week and not play, but you can put that money in your bank. Like, the whole purpose or the rationale, playing's fun, but people focus on 240 because it's like that. You're going to get the payout, right? It's not just about the card. You got that ETH or the fiat payout, and yet you got the opportunity to guarantee that before the game week even starts. It's like having like the whole betting thing where they give you early cash out, and you're like, oh, do I want to do it though, or do I want to play? And like, sense should say, just take the guaranteed money and then like plan for the next game week. But
it's just not
fun, is it?
The people that do that, which I respect people that do that, the people that have willpower, the people that stop eating when they've definitely actually had enough food, the people that leave the casino when they're £50 up and don't play for the next 4 hours. Like, that's just not who I am. So it's just never going to happen with me. But I respect the people that do it because it means they've got strong willpower and actually think with their heads rather than just go in.
They're the winners.
Yeah, I guess a lot comes down to gallery size, isn't it? Budget, bankroll, willpower, like you said. Like, what is your aim? Do you want to make $10 a week, from trading and grinding to get to the point where you can then upgrade? But I view this very much more as like a fun game. Like, almost like I view the money I'm putting in like a subscription service that you pay to play PlayStation games or Fortnite or online poker or whatever you're chucking your
round
money
of golf that we chuck 50 quid straight into. It's over after 4 hours.
Like gambling, like I don't gamble.
I'm happy to pay a monthly fee to play Sorare, definitely.
Yeah, like I just think it's really fun, and I guess so. A lot of it depends on your viewpoint, right?
No, I'm with you, mate.
I'd rather my monthly fee wasn't an Otavio or Sorare rare going to Saudi Arabia. Maybe something a little less than that. But yeah, I'm happy to pay a monthly fee to play the game for sure.
I was wondering when we dip back into Saudi. Mate, I feel really sorry for you watching those messages come through. You've been torn to shreds.
You don't feel sorry for me. You're loving it. You're probably like private messaging each other going,
idiot. Team never sell. Yeah, but you'll be like next season when you've got Saudi covered and you've got all the players everyone's chasing, and then I'll be saying, mate, you should sell these players. You're like, nope, never sell.
And also something else that was announced today. Some of the fixtures came out, didn't they, for the Asian Champions League?
Oh, that's it, yeah.
Neymar's playing the Mumbai police team and like someone else, and that's the same team that Milinkovic-Savic is in. So You know, I've got him. He's going to have a little bit of cheeky midweek utility, so at least I get something from him.
It's going to cause a bit of chaos, that is, because obviously a lot of people have been picking up championship players for midweek utility, which, like, the better teams are going to do quite well, but there's those very average players that are now going to get shat all over by these Saudi players.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's a bit shit, really.
I wonder. I know nothing about the Saudi league, so I don't know how seriously they'll take the group stage of the competition when they're so clearly now like the best team in the group. Like, they're playing like teams I've literally never heard of, and they could be six-a-side teams at goals, South Bristol. Like, that's how random the names are. So yeah, I wonder if they'll get occasionally caught out with rotation as well. But on paper, it looks like
I think
the Saudi cards are going to cause some absolute pain if you're holding, isn't it? Some absolute chaos when
I kind of like the chaos, though.
It's
Quite
certainly,
like
been,
it, isn't it?
certainly been a talking point, isn't it, the last couple of months? I would, I didn't think I was going to get quite as affected as I have been, but it's certainly been something to chat about.
Yeah.
Good times. Right, boys, let's move on from general chat and get straight into our picks. So we've each
straight into our picks 36 minutes into the podcast.
36 minutes into it, after the Everton Weekly, the Saudi deep dive, and whatever else we've done. We said we put together a bit of a short list of our own Cap 240 cheat code picks. If you've got any better suggestions, please post them in our YouTube or timeline. Rick, I'm going to pass the mic to you first. Who is your first pick for Cap 240 cheat mode?
Okay. I am going to go for ex-Man United legend Marcus Rojo. I've just been adding some different names to my list while we've been talking, and I've completely changed the people that I was going to go for. Marcus Rojo, he costs a £5 or 50 quid. Obviously used to have very good pedigree. Pissed off to Argentina for Boca Juniors. Got injured for a really, really long time. And now has just got himself back. You can see last 4 games is his return to the team. Let's just make this a little bit bigger. There we go. So yeah, got a sub appearance back, and then you can see he's been eased in with playing the majority of 3 games in a row. Was involved in a 6-4 apparently in his first full game back, but really low scores since he started coming back in with these sub appearances. Obviously, Boca are a fairly strong team in Argentina. We all know that already. And he has the pedigree of a good player, and he has an extremely low cap, 30 of an L15. And these sub appearances since he's come back are going to help anchor that for a little bit longer as well. So I think, you can look at this for a few games utility rather than like jumping in for 1 week. He bangs an 80 and then you lose it. But, I picked him because good pedigree as a player, good team, and cheap price and extremely low cap. So I felt like he filled in the trifecta, and those first few weeks scores since he's come back should mean that you get, a little bit of use out of it before the L15 hopefully goes too high that you couldn't use him anymore. So my first pick is over in Argentina for Marcus Rojo.
I
like that.
Way older. He's younger than all 3 of us.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Depressing.
Obviously, I will add in the negative that obviously he had a really bad injury to miss this. So, at 33 with an injury, come back off a bad injury, it's probably why he costs very little for a player of his quality at Boca Juniors. So you do have that mitigating risk. But, if you're getting someone L15 of 30 for a £5, then
I'm still playing football at 33 with an injury. So
are you?
Well, South Bristol goals might be a slightly different to the Argentinian Super League, but yeah. No, that's a good pick. I like it.
What I like about that pick is you could see. So Rojo, one thing that always springs to mind with him is he's like a walking yellow card. The last game he got a yellow and he still hit 54. Like he's got enough AA to get around cards, and he's playing in a dominant team. Therefore, he's definitely going to, unless he gets his reds, he's definitely going to well over hit 30. And then again, as we spoke about earlier, it's timing your exit point, or you go, actually, fuck it, I'm going to stack up a Boca team because they're one of the more dominant teams in the league.
You like to think he sort of holds value a bit with the name as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like it. Great shout, John. Who have you got for us?
Okay, much like Ricky, I've got a bit of a short list, but I've gone for 6 players, 2 of them are which of mine. I'm going to start with a player that I own, just to get out of the way. I'm going to go for Carlos Soler. Now, this is someone that we've chatted about before. Obviously, he's in a bad place at the moment with his scores, with his team. He's in Paris Saint-Germain. They absolutely hate him. Because I'm tweeting it, searching on Twitter his transfer news all the time, though, so I'm desperate for him to leave. And there's so many comments on Twitter about how much PSG fans hate him, but they do tend to hate like Lionel Messi and Mbappe and everyone. So I'm not so sure it's a big thing. But last 15 of 36, I think we can all appreciate that's extremely low for someone like Carlos Soler, who, if you look at his, scores when he was at Valencia, if there's loads, like he has the potential to be a real stud, and he was a real stud. He's been, linked with a lot of teams this summer. He's been linked for going back to Spain. I saw some links with Sevilla. I've seen some links to Turkish teams a little bit as well. And, you look at his last few scores for Paris Saint-Germain, what I talked about earlier, like he's been coming on as a sub and getting those low scores to sort of keep that cap really low. That's going to, much like Ricky said, anchor his scores for quite some time. Even if he does move teams, even if he gets like 5 straight hundreds, he's still going to be pretty low on the cap compared to where I think he can be. And just looking at his price as well, like 40 quid for a rare, £4-ish for a limited. I think not only is he good for your caps, but he's bottomed out at the moment. So yeah, that's my pick. I don't know what you boys think, but I think he definitely is one move away from being back to the normal Carlos Soler.
Like that, Ricky?
I've heard everyone talk about him a lot, but I'm not very familiar with Carlos Soler at all.
He's a very good player. He was the main man in Valencia, right? He was taking all their penalties, free kicks, so he's getting a lot of decisives, and he's just gone to Paris Saint-Germain and just completely blended into the background there. Obviously, he's obviously nowhere near taking penalties, corners, free kicks, any of that crap. So he's lost his AA game. He's not even starting. Like he's just really at the bottom of his where I think he can be at the moment. I'm just sort of hoping he gets a move. Knowing my luck, I own 3 of him. He'll probably go to Al Hilal.
Feels a bit Saudi, doesn't he?
He does. You look at their teams now, they've got like flipping 8 European players in their starting 11. Surely they can't fit any more European players in their teams now.
They can only start like 4, can't they?
Yeah, I think it's 5. But yeah, I just think even if he does join Saudi, like at 40 quid, like it's worth the risk, I think, personally.
Yeah. And he might play them by fireman in the midweek and get 100.
I'm right, yeah.
He's John. He's one of my favourite original cards. It was him and Ruiz. Do you remember Ruiz?
Yes. I've still got both of them.
Yeah,
I've still got both of them, and they both went to Paris Saint-Germain to ruin their careers.
Probably my most successful time ever on this platform was playing those 2 in a team together.
Yeah, those are the days, weren't they?
Boy, yeah. Do you own 2 rares and a yellow, John?
Yeah. Ready
Such a hoarder.
Mate, he's so cheap. It's unbelievably cheap. Like he was £1,000 card like a year ago.
He was very good. I mean, he was also carrying a really shit Valencia side and doing everything. He was a bit of a hype boy as well, which obviously got him his move. I agree with you. I think he's way too good to be on a bench, and he's underrated. I hope he goes back to Spain. If he goes back to Spain, I think players like this, I don't like them because they feel like a risk, like with Saudi now. So I'd almost rather wait for him to go back to Spain and pay 70, 80 quid or 100 quid just to know I've got a card of utility and because I know he's good.
Yeah, I'm certainly not buying any of these type of cards at the moment. What with Saudi stuff going on, I'm waiting for their transfer season to end. But yeah, I just think good value.
Cap-wise, that's low, isn't it? Yeah, I'm with you.
Seriously low, yeah.
For his quality as well. He's a top player. Top player. Cool. So my first pick for you boys, Brando Williams. So Brandon Williams is zeros across the board, which we spoke about earlier. If he absolutely smashes it in his first game, then suddenly he's not really a cap 240 cheat code. But I just think there's a lot to like about him, and he today completed his move. His loan. It was always going to happen at some point. Today he's completed a loan move to Ipswich. So Ipswich are top of the Championship. They had a really good season last year in League One, and they've carried it on into the Championship. I think they will finish top half this season, have a very good season, and Williams will slot in at fullback, which is what they needed. So I just think he's a perfect fit for them, kind of in real life, and then in so rare terms, he should go in and just play. So you've got a player to at least have one or two real good games in terms of your cap mode, and then utility-wise for those midweeks, he'll be an easy sell. His price has gone up. Like when I was watching him pre-move, he was around like 40 quid, whereas now we're looking at 65 quid, and that's a recent sell. So it looks like you probably have to pay between 65 and nearly 80 quid, 75 quid. But yeah, Brandon Williams, he's got pedigree. He's obviously a United player. He's played over 50 games for United, so he's not shit. And he had his loan at Norwich as well. He's played in the Prem, so yeah, he's my pick, and he's young. You know, he's under 23, so he's one. I don't see him being a world beater in any stage of his career, but I think he's value right now. What do you reckon, boys?
Yeah, he could easily tear up the Championship. 0-L-15 for the first game gives you a freebie slot. Yeah, under 23, good pedigree from good clubs, had lots of loans, lots of times for Man United. There's no reason why he shouldn't do well in the Championship. So yeah, I like it.
Always love to see a player join the Championship. Like you just always think, right, this could be it, the cash cow. But yeah,
he's a golden goose.
Yeah, he sort of burst on the scene a bit, didn't he, Brandon Williams, back in the day, and he sort of hasn't really developed. So was he at Norwich last year? Was he?
He took a season loan at Norwich, yeah, which is where he got his appearances. Where again, you can see those scores here. He's actually had some decent scores. And that's not him. He's not scoring goals. It's just clean sheets. So he gets on the ball plenty, but he's a typical fullback that's like not a world beater, whereby he'll have some absolute shitters, and then he'll have some pretty decent scores when they keep a clean sheet and he gets on the ball plenty. Yeah. But again, he's had a lot of time out as well where he's not playing. So I think he's a good option. There is out there at a 0 at the minute in Championship anyway.
Nice. Okay.
Next up, Ricky T. What have you got for us?
Who do I pick next? I'm going to go for this one. Ex-Everton legend.
Ooh.
Lucas Digne. £7, £50, even a super rep 0.3 on the market at the moment, which doesn't seem too bad. Obviously, good pedigree as a set piece taker. What I like about him is obviously Aston Villa have the added midweek coming at the moment, and this season has resulted in him banging 100 last night, getting 3 assists as they absolutely mauled Hibs up in Scotland. You can see his L15 before that is fairly fucking shoddy. He did manage a 46 here as Aston Villa thrashed Everton 4-0. But you can see that he seems to have a place nailed down in this Villa team now. And they have that midweek utility as well. Playing teams like Hibs, they look like they're comfortable to get through to the group, meaning that he has that ability to play crap teams in midweek and hit those peak scores, which is exactly what he did last night. Poor L15 in terms of these scores on the board, which should, cement his L15 at a low level for the, a good while longer. He's at 33 at the moment, so you can slot him into a 220 or a 240 very easily this weekend if you wanted to. I'm a big fan of the 220 competition. I know the prizes are rough as shit, but you do get to enter, a common draft goalie and 4 random players that you probably wouldn't use elsewhere. But, I enjoy making the 220 teams, even if the prizes I win in it are crap. But yeah, I really like that L15, and I still think the price is quite low. Obviously, it's had a spike in the last couple of days, probably because people realised about the midweek utility. But, for a starting left back for Aston Villa, who are, I know you can't tell a lot over a team that smacks Everton about, but, they look, based on last season, that they might have another really successful year, a lot of good talent, and someone that could provide assists from fullback, get those decisives, and have midweek utility. I'm going to go for Lucas Digne at 33.
So, as you just lambasted Everton, most of that, I'm just going to discuss to you that actually he's getting heavily linked with moves to Saudi. So,
yeah, but
isn't it about time you bought one then, John?
Who isn't getting heavily linked with moves to Saudi at this point?
Apparently, he's agreed personal terms to join Neymar's team, Al Hilal.
Well, he was in the starting lineup last night, so
no, it's not bad. I mean, it's pretty decent value, to be honest. And obviously he's ex-Everton, but he was a key man at Everton. And you look at his scores. I don't know if you can go back as far as when he was at Everton, but he would have probably scored very well.
Is he a good player, John? I don't know a lot about him, really.
No, he's a good player. I think he's always been. He's quite slow, so when he does come up against a quick winger, he struggles a little bit. But he's very key in terms of decisives. He certainly was for Everton, anyway.
He was in the French squad last year as well, wasn't he?
He was. But
here he is down at Everton. Dark greens.
Good times. And I always really liked the Lucas Digne sale story because he fell out of Rafa Benitez. So to keep Rafa Benitez happy, who no Everton fans wanted in charge of the club, we sold Lucas Digne, who was one of our best players, and then we sacked Rafa Benitez 3 days later. So that is the type of thing that Everton's management team do.
What a club.
What a time that was. Almost as good as the Big Sam period. That was my favourite. But
unbelievably shit.
Isn't it amazing how many times we segue back to Everton? There's always a way. We always find a way to find Everton.
Well, I don't know.
You see the pain on Johnny's face. It makes it worth it every time.
Rick's just spent his whole pick there talking about Everton, so I feel like I had to answer him.
I like it. I think it's a good pick because to John's point, it sounds like it's a risky pick. I'm so scared of Saudi that I wouldn't touch him with any form of link like that. But I like the cap's good. He's a starter. John says he's a good player. Trust John's judgment. And midweek utility, as you say, for Villa, who I think Villa are going to have a cracking season. I actually think Villa could be a shout for the Europa Cup, because Emery's like a specialist in it. Villa actually got quite a decent squad. I think genuinely, if you stack a Villa team, they're probably not cheap as now. He's a good option to kind of keep that score down.
Yeah. Not bad.
I don't think he'll go to Saudi. So
to be fair, he's getting linked to a few other teams in Europe as well. So who knows? Who knows what will happen? Watch this space.
There you go. Right. Next up.
So, from one left back in the Premier League to another left back in the Premier League, I'm going to go for Emerson. Someone that sort of come into the team for West Ham at the back end of last season. Played really well in the conference final, I thought. Has very good ability to score high scores here, if you look at his last sort of year of footy. But last 15 of 45 is still pretty low for, I think, how good he can be. And they're in Europe as well, obviously. It looks like Cresswell is maybe on his way out. I'm not sure. Cresswell's also getting on a bit. I think he's about 35 now, and he seems to have nailed down that left back role for himself now, Emerson. They've obviously sold Masuaku as well to Besiktas. Good value player. You're looking at 30 quid-ish for a rare. I've sort of based a lot of mine on low value as well as low cap. I just think you can't go wrong at that price. I also don't own a card of Emerson, so I'm not big enough because I own him. But yeah, low last 15. Got that midweek European football. I think West Ham will probably do pretty well again in Europe. Yeah, he's got good ability to score good scores, peaky scores. Like he's very much a sort of Castro Montes mold, as I like to call it. He can do really badly, but does like to bomb upfield and get decisive as well, much like Lucas Dean. So yeah, solid little player, I think.
Good shout, mate. Have you also considered that Emerson sounds like Everton?
See, once again, you boys bring Emerson up. You can't help yourselves.
Maybe it's me with the obsession.
It does actually. Yeah, maybe it's just ingrained into my mind. But no, yeah, I think
my favourite thing about him, genuinely, is 2 fixtures time. I'm hunting anyone who's playing Luton like the next 3 weeks when I'm buying.
He's got Sheffield United as well in a few games, but
yeah, because it's just the score potential is huge against Luton in terms of like being on the ball as a defender and also the ability to potentially get an assist or a goal from someone like him. And at his price, it almost pays for itself in 1 week, doesn't it?
Well, definitely. I mean, that's a bargain. And I'm pretty sure he's still making the Italy squad, if I'm not mistaken.
Italy are weird. I've been doing a bit of scouting for the Euros, and I cannot work out like what Italy's team is going to be. And when I look at it, it looks shit, and that just feels weird because Italy are normally so good.
Well, they've had a weird sort of decade, haven't they? They obviously won the Euros and then didn't qualify for the World Cup, and then did they just scrape through to this Euros?
Well, it's still going on, isn't it?
Yeah, they got Nonto up front, who's like not even starting at the minute because he's on strike. Because God knows where he's going to end up.
He wants to go to Everton, believe it or not.
Is that true?
Yeah. He's said he wants to leave and go to Everton. We've put in a good bid for him, but these Leeds are just like, nope, we're not selling him.
He feels like a Saudi kind of guy that would take money.
Nah, surely not.
I don't know. What do you reckon, Rick?
What do you mean Nonto, the lead striker, is Italy's current international striker?
No, he starts winger for them. He's not their starting number 10, but like he's bloody good, to be fair.
Well, I'm still bitter about them beating us on penalties, so I hope it all goes to shit for them. I hope a lead striker on strike is their main forward because, I couldn't give a toss about them after they beat us and reduced me to tears. So
that's true.
Does that mean you're not buying an Emerson then?
I'm bitter, yeah. I won't be buying an Emerson. No. Thanks for bringing that point up. No, I'm sad. I remember Rashford hitting the post all over again now.
That was a horrible game, wasn't it?
Oh, that was painful.
Good save by Pickford, though, in the penalty shootout.
If he had longer arms, he might have got a couple more.
Right. Anyway, we're on Everton again. I'm moving us on. Next up for me, we have got Chile.
Another left back. 3 straight left backs.
Yeah, 3 straight left backs. To be fair, though, fullbacks are the ones with big cap potential because they typically can get the assists and get the goals, but equally have absolute shitters in terms of losing the ball. It tends to go one way or the other, doesn't it? They're a bit more peaky, I guess. So, but yeah, Chilwell at L15 of 39. He's obviously got Pochettino as his boss now, who loves utilising his wing backs or full backs. He's already had loads of the ball, so you can see he's got potential to do damage. I actually think his price, he's not for sale at 146, but at 146 that's value. He's listed at 199 at the minute as a red or 30 quid as a yellow. I own one at rare because I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I think he is pound for pound probably the best option in defence as a cap 240 player this season, and he's someone I'd happily hold. And also look at these fixtures. So again, I got him specifically. I wanted him when the Luton game was coming up because I see this type of match at home against Luton as one where they get loads of the ball and high potential for 100 score. And then there's Nottingham Forest coming up, Bournemouth, Villa, which is tough but doable. Fulham should win, Burnley win, and then Arsenal tough, and then Brentford. So that's a real strong stretch of fixtures. The only The only downside to it is, as good as that sounds, he's still playing for Chelsea, and Chelsea are still a bit of a shit show as a club. Like, they haven't really sorted it out yet or clicked into gear. But
announced 1-0 to Luton. Announced 1-0 to
yeah,
Luton.
probably. But then equally, Luton could be the game where they win like 4-5, 6-0. Jackson scores a few, and it all clicks into gear. And if that happens, I see Chilwell being a big part of it. And historically, I mean, his scores are like not huge, but like these are without goals. He's hitting 60s, 57s. As we said, he's got some shit scores in between. He's had injuries. But I see this season as a season where he can really hit like his proper potential. And like, again, he's got hundreds in him. And not forgetting, I don't see him as the starting left back. That's, for me, that's Shaw's job to lose. But he could and should get in that squad as another option at fullback. And if an injury happens, you then got a starter at fullback as well for that price. Thoughts on Chilwell, boys?
Yeah, we talked about him last week, I think. But I remember seeing as well that when Reece James went off injured last week, he gave the captain's armband to Chilwell. So I was saying to Rick, like, clearly Chilwell is like a big part of the team, dressing room, whatever. And he's a good attacking player, and he has been ravaged by injuries, isn't he? The last sort of 18 months. I think that's why he's so low down in everything at the moment. But you know, look at his scores at Leicester. He's definitely got the potential to score really well. And you know, I know Chelsea have started the season still a little bit strangely, but they're definitely playing better. And I do think it's just a matter of time before it just clicks for them. And it could be tomorrow, couldn't it? It could easily be against Luton.
I mean, I picked him as my hot take to be the best defender in the Premiership this season. So that tells you all you need to know. And Mudryk has picked up an injury as well. And that was kind of what you thought after I bought him for a lot of money, because I was fixated on him. They thought Mudryk might be a bit of a blocker, you know, need to play out on that wing as well. But with him gone for a little bit, Chilwell should run absolute rampant against Luton tomorrow. So I wouldn't be surprised to see 100 posted on the doors. Equally, I could also see myself having a little laugh at Chelsea's expense if they lose 1-0 to Luton, like you said. So
Jesse, I presume he's part of your highly fancied rare team for the weekend.
Do you know what I struggle with though? Was because I've convinced myself. It means it's not going to happen, but I've convinced myself he's going to hit 100 against Luton. And then I was like, well, if I'm that confident, I should probably put him in my All-Star or 270 team and then captain him, because obviously you can't captain your 240s at the minute. But then I've stuck to my guns and the strategy and gone, no, I'm going cap 240. He's got low cap, so he's gonna go into my 240 team, which I'm fairly confident about, which means absolutely nothing. And then my hope is, as I say, he really performs this season, and then I'll shift him into All-Star and 270 thereafter, because he's not someone I want to sell.
I think he scores 75 plus tomorrow, easily.
Fingers crossed. But then it's one of those game weeks whereby if he does that, then most of the Chelsea team do as well, and then anyone with a Chelsea stack is probably going to piss all over me. That's the only thing that caps you out in those weeks. But I take the ETH anyway.
Bring back
Ricky,
Lukaku.
Yeah, he's linked to Spurs today. You see that?
Never happened.
I can see again Saudi. Surely, I just can't see him going anywhere else.
Yeah.
Have you got
anyway,
Rick?
you want my third pick?
Mm-hmm.
I've made a slight alteration, getting away from the Everton theme because it's getting quite ridiculous. Us just badgering on about Everton now. I've gone for Richarlison. In no way ever related to
Everton related.
I have gone to Richarlison. I like Richarlison because my name is Ricky and my brother's name is Charlie and our last name ends in son. So it sort of feels like if you merged me, my brother together, you would form the football player Richarlison. Outside of that, using more Sorare based logic, is he's a Brazilian striker that cost a lot of money, went to Tottenham and did fuck all. But then Tottenham sold their extremely world-class striker who was nailed to start to Germany. So Richarlison has been given that spot to start the season. They haven't signed anyone who seems to be an immediate threat to him in that position. He has shown before for that blue club in Merseyside we mentioned too often, and Brazil, that he is able to put up good performances and good scores. So what we're all doing now is buying in and just waiting for the magic to happen. Obviously, they dominated Man United at the weekend, but he still managed to get -7 AA and only put up a 27. But I, have got the faith that the decisives will soon begin to roll in. Not the cheapest player we've mentioned on the list, obviously, but you are buying the Tottenham and Brazil number 9. And if you're looking at his last 15 scores, they are fairly tragic because they feature a lot of sub-appearances at the tail end of last year, which, suppress his L15, which is nice and low, under the 40 mark. And, a starting striker for a team that started the season well, for a manager that really wants to play pacey, attacking football. He has Maddison in behind him now, who looks like an absolute assist machine. I think all the signs are there. Richarlison cannot ask for any more, for his situation to be laid on a plate for him any better than to kick on and have a good season. And if he doesn't now, well, then that blue Everton blood running through his veins has just infected him so much that he will never recover. So
you're obsessed.
Richarlison.
Go on, John. What's your thoughts on Richarlison?
I mean, I love him. I miss him. Come back, please, Richarlison. We need you. If you're watching this, which I presume you are, please come back. We're desperate for you. But yeah, no, all jokes aside, he is a very, very good player. He's the sort of player that all other fans of other teams hate because he's a right shithouse. He likes to sort of get under the skin of the fans, the players, but he's a freaking good footballer. Like, he's really, obviously, I don't know what's happened to him at Spurs, just hasn't worked out. Obviously, he was on the bench a lot last season with Kane. It was a weird transfer, really, because he doesn't really suit the way they were set up last season. They obviously already had Son, Kulusevski, and Kane. So yeah, it was a weird situation. But I do think it's only a matter of time before he starts banging. And if he doesn't, then he'll probably leave and go somewhere else and do really well. I'm actually surprised that his price hasn't lowered more, considering how bad he has been. I think obviously he's a big name player, and it's Brazil's starting number 9 as well. So he's always going to have his fans across the world, but yeah, I think it's a good player, very good player.
I think as soon as Kane left, didn't he? His price just, because I got in at 0.12, and he's obviously about the 0.16 mark now. As soon as Kane was considered gone, it sort of cemented him a place in that somewhere along the front three. If he does put in another way, like 1 or 2 bad performances, people will lose patience with him, and people will start undercut him for trying to sell. I think his price will potentially go down a little bit, but then if he does score a couple, then he'll go up. So yeah, he's a very good player, and he could be a higher value player for sure. He
highly stresses me out. He fits the category on Sorare. There's a few players that do this for me. Mudryk I haven't seen enough of, but he is on the edge of it. Havertz is another player where you're in your head, you're they're good players, but then they're not. The more you watch them, they're not good, and you're are they going to come good? I've convinced myself they're going to come good. I should buy them. I should buy them now. And then you don't, and if you don't, they'll go up. If you do, they'll play shit and it'll go down. I just find him so stressful. I've been thinking about buying him for so long, and when he was at the World Cup playing for Brazil, my rationale was if you're playing for Brazil, you're a good player. Go on, Rick, what are you going to say?
I literally bought Richarlison and Mudryk one day apart just before the season started because I was I've got to have these 2 players. They're so good. I've got to get them. I bought them.
Mate, and you've got the trifecta.
Yeah, 1 player away, but yeah.
But they're so stressful, aren't they? Because you do look at them and go, I'm sure they're great players. They are and they're the type of players that could explode and be hit big scores and hit big prices, and that's why you buy them. Because I'm going to miss the boat on these players. But then equally, they could also not. Havertz is the biggest one of the whole lot. I was going to put him on my list today because of his cap score. But I'm looking at his price at like, I think it's 260, something like that in red. And I'm like, can I even justify paying 260 quid when recently I've been watching Havertz on telly going, he literally doesn't want to have the ball. It looks like me on a pitch. What's going on?
Shithouse. My hot take was biggest waste of money in the Premiership, Kai Havertz.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
I
don't see it.
Neither do I. He just doesn't look like he belongs on the pitch at the minute, which is really bizarre.
Yeah.
It must be a confidence thing. But yeah.
Rick, it's not called the Premiership anymore, right? That ended
Premier League, yeah. I'm old school, mate. I'm old school. I'm retro. I like to think Man United good.
You're talking about the Scottish Premiership.
Yeah.
I do this, and then I search on Sorare, and I always end up going straight through to the Scottish Premiership. It's another thing that irks me.
Premiership just makes me think of that little period where Match of the Day went to ITV.
Oh, yeah.
But it was just like, it's a beautiful day.
You too. That was brilliant. The intro was great, and then the rest of it was shite.
Everything else was crap.
Can I just point out Richarlison as well? That I forgot to say his next 5 are Bournemouth, Burnley, Bolivia, Peru, and then Sheffield United at home, which was another point that really interests me.
If he doesn't do it in those 5, then Christ.
Yeah. He's not going to beat Carlos Lampe, is he? He's got no chance of doing that.
Oh, Lord Lampe.
I love Lampe.
John, who's your last pick, mate?
Last pick. So I've gone for someone that a lot of people probably won't have heard of. It's someone else I own. Apologies, but it's Mao Hosoya. He's a young Japanese striker for Kashiwa Reysol. He's a very good player. Just from looking at his name on Twitter over the last sort of few months since I've owned him, he's getting bigged up a lot. He's young. He's got links to a good few teams. It's the type of player you can see potentially joining someone like Kawasaki Frontale or Marinos in the next sort of 18 months and being at that elite team in Japan and doing really well before potentially leaving again to Europe. Very quick, good striker, scores well. I'll show you his scores here. For a bad team, this as well, because Kashiwa are not a good team. They're, I think, bottom 3 and quite far away from being bottom 4. So there's that risk of relegation, I guess, maybe a little bit. But I do think if they do get relegated, he'll leave. Obviously, he hasn't quite shown that potential to get big dark green scores at the moment. But that I think is mainly due to the team he plays for. He does score a lot of goals. You're looking at quite a few dark greens here. For a bad team, he's one of their key men, and he's still only £75, which there's always that slight increased value for forwards, isn't there, on the game? I think that's good value. Japan still have quite a few game weeks left of their season. I think they've got about 15 games left, so we're looking at a few more months left yet. But yeah, I think as the last 15 of 48 for a striker for that value, it's good value.
I know nothing about him, never seen him play.
I think, Rick, you've heard of him, haven't you? Do you have his limited or?
I used to own his rare, I think. Yeah, always had a lot of hype about him. Good player, under 23 utility for a bit longer.
Yeah,
I like him.
How long's left of the season in Japan? I've been following J-League this year.
I think it's about three months. I think it usually ends in around sort of Christmas-ish time. Christmas. I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on it. I just saw.
They got 10 games left by the looks of it.
It's okay. So not quite as many as I thought, but yeah, his value is good at the moment for £75. I think personally.
No, I like it. Like it a lot, mate. So my last pick. This was hard because what I really wanted to do was put James Milner on the screen because Milner has recently obviously made his move to Brighton and he's on 33 as an L15 and he's starting and he's good at penalties and he's like 20 quid. But he is older than us, which is like my kind of like litmus test. If they're older than us, then they are fucking old and at serious risk of retiring. And his scores are pretty capped. And based on what we said earlier, unless he has a penalty, I think he's not really a cheat code.
He's a walking injury.
Yeah. So although he's one of my favourite players of all time, I'm not going to put him on screen. My final pick is Sabitzer. So Sabitzer obviously had a move to United, which was probably average at best. Like injuries probably slowed his progress. I really rated him before he went to United. I rated him really highly before his Bayern move. He's always good for Austria, which is one of the reasons I think he's worth picking up. And generally, he's a good player. He's moved to Dortmund this season. His cap currently at 39 is very low for a player of his quality. You can pick one up for around 170 to 180 quid in red, just over 20 quid in yellow. In terms of like his scores so far, like he's not lit the world up, but again, his cap's at 39. He's played his first game and he's hit 45 in a 1-0 victory where he's played CDM. His all-round of 10. Even, again, we spoke about what makes a cheat code earlier. 45 on an L15 of 39 is a win. That, for me, is a cheat code. And again, if someone is quality who's had L40 of 44 as well, means that score, and his L5 is 36, by the way. So his score isn't going to dramatically increase unless he hits quite a few hundreds or high scores, and he has got hundreds in him. So I think he's one that's worth picking up now, especially with his fixtures coming up as well. So Bochum and Hodenheim coming up next, and none of the real big teams for considerable weeks, not to the Bayern game in November. So yeah, Sabitzer is my suggestion. He's also got his utility in September that's coming up with the Austrian games too, and Austria are also one of my favourite teams to follow following our trip to Paris, Ricky. So yeah, what do you boys think?
He's one of my biggest regrets of the last few months was not buying him. He was selling for £40 rare, and I repeatedly made lots of offers of £30, £35 this to a lot of people, and they came back to me with counter offers, and I just refused to accept their counter offers because I like to try and get absolute bargains, and just sort of gave up on it in the end. And then he got that move to Dortmund, and his prices skyrocketed. So unfortunately, I missed the boat now, really, when I look at it. But yeah, he's still very good value for the low cap he's got there. 39 is very tasty and will stay pretty low for some time, even if he does score well. But I don't know if you can see. Can you see his Salzburg, his Leipzig scores on the bottom there? If you go to all, because he was, before he joined Bayern, he was extremely good, wasn't he?
It was very good. A top player. I mean, it's enough. Bayern are a bloody good side, so it's enough for them to shell out on him.
Yeah, he's got seriously good potential, and like you say, like he's a key man for Austria as well. I guess Austria are going to make the Euros as well next year. So
yeah, I'm pretty confident they'll be there.
That sweet Euros utility. But yeah, I think he's a good player to have in your squad for sure.
Like it, Rick?
Yeah. Very low for where he plays for Dortmund at the moment. They have the ability to crush teams, so yeah, I think it's a nice pick.
Good man. Right, and we will knock it on the head there. So there's 9 picks between us. Cheat codes potential. Again, we would welcome your thoughts, suggestions. We'll pop these all into a public watch list that we have available on Sorare Data, which we always do with any of these types of shows. And if you ping anyone on our group or on our Twitter page, then we will add them there if we think they're good enough. So, Rick, John, have you got any plugs before we sort of close it off?
Well, Rick, we've had a couple of questions about the Beat Boys, and I think we're going to do it once the new common cards come out.
Yeah, we'll have a new private league as soon as they launch the new Premier League season. We're going to start with the Premier League one with the new cards, when you can actually pick all the players. But yeah, follow us on Twitter. Our accounts are in the description. And yeah, we'll post details on there as soon as it's released.
Perfect. And that's it. We'll see you again for next week's show. Up the Thursday Club.
Viva la Thursday Club.
Up the Toffees.